Charting Toward Intimacy covers mature topics. Listener discretion is advised. Your expectation of your husband reading your mind and knowing exactly what you want and need for your marriage and your sexual relationship is absolutely killing your sex life. Let's talk about it in today's episode. Welcome to Charting Toward Intimacy, the podcast for Catholic women that helps you improve your sex life, strengthen your marriage, and embrace God's design for love. My name is Holloway, and let's talk about mind reading expectations. It is so common to have this thought, or even say it out loud. If my husband loved me, he would just know. Like, raise your hand if you've said that. And I definitely have. I don't anymore because I know what I'm going to teach you today. But there is this weird cultural expectation that love equals mind reading. And that is just so not true. And also, when we have that expectation, it's sabotaging our intimacy as a whole. It's sabotaging our sex life and our whole marriage. So, what is loving then? Truly loving someone. Love is a decision. It is a decision to love someone. Love is not a feeling. This is a super common thing that they teach in marriage prep. And I have to be honest, when my husband and I were preparing for marriage and they taught this concept, love is a decision. It's not a feeling. We were, us green, engaged couple, we were just like, that's ridiculous. No, love is a feeling. This is so silly. And it took the rocky start that our marriage was for us to realize what that meant, what love is a decision meant. And maybe that's the case for some of you guys listening, is like, you heard that in marriage prep and you're like, that's so silly. But then you got into marriage and you're like, oh, love is deciding to do things even when we just don't feel like it, right? Love is deciding to be there and deciding to care and deciding to do things for the other person, even when we don't really want to. And that's so loving. And this is really what I want to drill into. Deciding to do something for your spouse, even when you don't want to do it, is very loving. So I'll give an example. So let's say that you hate packing lunches, but your husband loves being able to take leftovers for lunch. He just loves being able to have homemade leftovers, whatever was for dinner last night. He just loves being able to take that to work, but he doesn't have time to pack a lunch. And so most days he's just, running out the door, getting in the car, getting to work, and he's going to pick up something for lunch. But you know that your husband loves lunch from home. And you choose, even though you hate it, even though you hate packing lunch, you choose to pack him lunch and he takes that with him. I think we can just super clearly see how that is a very loving thing to do, right? You don't want to pack the lunch, but you choose to pack the lunch because you know how much your husband loves it. That's a really loving action. So now let's flip it to something that I get a lot of pushback from. Let's say that for you, a massage really helps you get ready for sex. Really helps you get ready for sex, but your husband has no inclination to give you a massage. And so you ask, hey, can you give me a massage? And your husband begrudgingly gives you a massage. Now, I've heard from so many women that this situation is not loving. And it just baffles me that we do that to ourselves. We sabotage our relationship. When we ask for something that we want, our husband clearly doesn't want to do it, and yet he chooses to do it anyway. Somehow we can convince ourselves that that's not loving. That's ridiculous. If your husband is begrudgingly doing something that you asked, That is more loving than him just guessing and doing something like that works for you guys. Again, I'm going to say that again. If your husband begrudgingly chooses to do something that you ask him to do, that is more loving than him just mind reading and guessing, because he can't mind read, right? So it's just guessing. It's more loving. It takes more of the action of love, more of the decision to love, if he's doing something that he doesn't want to do, but he chooses to do it anyway, versus something that he just guesses and maybe wants to do anyway. Now, I'm not saying it's not loving if he guesses something that you like and he does it. That's great. And I'm also not saying that it wouldn't be ideal if he wasn't begrudgingly doing it, right? Maybe it would be more loving if he was, choosing to do it with a smile on his face. But I need you to reframe this thought pattern that if you ask for something and your husband does it, even if it's begrudgingly, that is a very loving action. So this is going to help us in reframing asking for the things that we want and need, particularly in sex. I mean, your whole marriage, but particularly in sex. Right? So if a massage helps you get ready, if a foot rub helps you relax, ask for those things. And then the most important thing that you need to do is recognize that when your husband, no matter his attitude, when your husband makes a decision to do those things, he is deciding to love you. And that is an incredibly loving action. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks so much for listening. If you have ever gotten any value from this podcast, could you do me a favor really quick? Go into the podcast app that you are listening in, and if it gives you an option to rate and review, please rate and review this podcast. It helps us so much in reaching new listeners and spreading the word about this podcast. Thanks so much for listening.